guys, it's Danielle with DMC Crochet. Thanks for coming back to my channel. So today we are going to talk about how to change colors in a crochet project, or how to add a new ball of yarn when your first ball of yarn is running out. So there are two ways that you can do this that I know of, and I definitely don't know everything. So there are two main ways to do this, and just like with everything else, it's going to end up being your preference how you do it. Either way looks neat. Either way is fairly easy to do, but it's going to come down to your preference. So the first thing that you can do is you can get to the end of your row, right? So if you're going to do something that's striped, so for example right here what I have on screen is I have just some dishcloth yarn that I have, and so I did a row of chains and then I double crocheted across that, and then when I got to the end of that, what I did was I fastened off, and then to change colors all I did was I put a slip knot on my brand new skein of yarn, and then double crocheted into that first stitch on the row and then went down that way. So that's an easy way to do it. You can change your colors at the end of the row. You can make the slip knots and then tidy them up once you're weaving in your ends. The only thing I would advise with that is, like, if you're gonna do that, make sure that you count your stitches to make sure that you didn't accidentally maybe skip one when you were tying on the new skein of yarn or something like that. So that's one way. To me, that's the easier way to do it, because you can really hide those ends when you are finishing off your project. The only thing that I would say too to be mindful of is, like, if you like, let's say, so this yarn that I have on my hook is, the bottom row is orange, and then the upper the next row, the new color, is like a turquoise. So I'm just making sure that I be mindful that I don't want to weave in the orange ends into the turquoise yarn, because that could muddle the look of the edges, and so just to keep it neat. So then what I do is, if I'm changing colors, and I know I'm going to do this several times, I will tie the yarns of the same color together. So like these two orange ones that I have down here at the bottom, I would tie together, and then this turquoise one, and then let's say there was another turquoise one above it, I would tie that together, just so that I know, okay, these colors are the same colors. So the other way to do it is, let's say you're crocheting along and you decide in the middle of a row that you are either running out of yarn or you would like to change the color of your yarn. So if you are running out of yarn, don't crochet until you're at the very, very end of your skein. Crochet until you have at least the length of a tail, so 3 inches or more, or sorry, 4 inches or more. So then that way you have enough yarn to weave in. But to change colors or to add a new skein of yarn, it's in the middle of a row. It's pretty simple. So all you're gonna do is you are going to drop the working yarn of your current skein behind your work and behind your hook on the table or on your lap or wherever, but keep that kind of back there just for a minute. You're gonna pick it right back up. So then you're gonna hold that in your right hand, or you can put it down. Actually, let's put it down. So then with your left hand, you are going to take your, sorry, one second. Sorry, the iPad moved. I had to fix it. So then what you're going to do is you are going to take the tail end of your new color or your new skein of yarn, and again, you're going to leave a tail of at least 4 inches so that you can weave it in later. You're going to take that tail, and the tail is going to be between your, like, you're just going to let it hang between your thumb and your index finger. And then you're going to just drape that working yarn over your index finger and hold it between your middle finger and index finger. You don't have to hold it really tight or anything. Just hold it there. And make sure you can still, like, so for me, in order for me to still work and hold on to the yarn, I have to put it down to where, like, a ring would sit. Like if you're wearing a ring on your index finger. But, so just keep it there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get ready to do another double crochet, but I'm not going to finish it. Okay, so I yarned over. I'm going under the 2 legs of the V in my work. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3, stop. Okay, and you're not going to finish this double crochet. You're going to keep it to where you have 2 loops left on your hook. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put that yarn that's on your index finger, you're going to put it on hook. So just transfer it from your index finger to your hook. Now, this piece is important. So in order for this to work so it doesn't fall apart, you've got your shorter tail end hanging over the piece of your hook that's closer to you. And then you've got the working end of your yarn closer to, or further away from you around the hook. You are going to tuck the tail under the working yarn. Just tuck it under. You're not like looping it anywhere. You're not tying a knot. You're just tucking it so that now the working yarn is closer to you and the tail of the yarn is further away. Now you will have 3 loops on hook, 2 from the old color, 1 from the new color. Now all you're going to do is pull, oops, pull through without messing up like I just did. So you're just going to pull okay, just had to make sure I had the right end. And take your time. I have never done this cleanly the first time. It just takes some time to get used to. Okay, now that you've pulled through, you should have 1 loop left on your hook, and that is going to be the working loop of the new color. Now, okay, now that you've got that done, you are going to pull tight on the old yarn, the old working yarn. So in my case, it's the turquoise yarn. You're just going to pull tight on that just to make sure that the last stitch that you did in the turquoise is stable. Now you're also going to pull just a little bit tight on your working yarn in the new color to make sure that it's stable. And then you can keep crocheting along in the next stitch with, you know, just like normal. Just be careful not to get things tangled up because you still got all the ends of the other yarn attached to your work. And do like 2 or 3 more stitches just to make sure it's really on there and you're really getting your crochet, you know, stable from that little switch. Okay, so this looks good. I'm going to do 1 more. Okay, I finished that double crochet. So now I've got in the middle of a row, I've got a nice neat transition to this new skein of yarn, whether it's in, you know, your new skein or new color. So okay, now to take care of these ends. So what you're gonna do with the working end of the old color, so for me this would be turquoise, I would just cut a tail. So I'm just cutting a tail off the skein, and again you're leaving that 4-inch tail. If I can find my scissors. Guys, I swear, like, I get so organized before the videos, and then I don't know if it's just because I'm nervous or what, but I feel like I lose myself a little bit, so please forgive that. Alright, so I'm just cutting. There we go. So now I am free of the turquoise yarn. And now all I have on my hook is I have the orange yarn. And I can continue to crochet as I was before. So let's try this again, okay? I am going to do like 1 more double crochet just so that we can get a little bit of orange on this. This is actually pretty cool looking, these colors together. Okay, so now I have the working loop of yarn on my hook. I am going to yarn over. I'm going to go under the 2 legs of the double crochet. I'm going to pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, stop. Okay, I'm going to put down my work. I'm going to grab the end of this turquoise, and I'm actually pulling a little more yarn off the skein. Okay, So now, again, we want this tail, what's going to end up being your tail end between the thumb and the index finger, and then put the yarn over your index finger down like where you would wear a ring. So you've got a short end between thumb and index, relaxing, chillaxing right there. Then you've got the yarn on your index finger in the place where like a ring would go, and then the working end of this yarn is between my pointer finger and middle finger. Picking my hook back up, I'm going to transfer this yarn that's on my index finger onto my hook. Okay, now I'm not worrying about the orange yarn anymore at this second. I'm worrying about the placement of the turquoise yarn. Now that the yarn is draped over my hook, so I've transferred it from my index finger, and what you want to do is you want to kind of crisscross the ends of the yarn. So the tail end of the yarn that you had between your thumb and index fingers going under your hook away from you, and then the working end of the yarn that was sitting between your index and middle finger is coming towards you. Okay, so now that you have this arranged where you need it to be, you have 3 loops on hook. You have the last 2 loops from that double crochet, and then the loop that you just made with your new color. And all you're going to do is you're going to pull through. That's it. And then you're going to tighten down your new yarn, and you're going to tighten down the end of your old yarn, just to make sure that you don't have this wonky double crochet where it's like really loose where you're changing colors. And that way your colors don't fall apart either. Or not fall apart, but fall out. Okay, so now that you've got you made sure that everything's tightened up, you forget about the old color of yarn completely. Now you're just gonna double crochet a couple times just to make sure that the yarn really is secure in there. And again, make sure you're not accidentally double crocheting with your tail end. Make sure you're crocheting with the working end of your yarn because you did that crisscross earlier. Get in there, buddy. There we go. And that is it. That is how you change colors. So now that I have done a couple of double crochets with this new color, I am going to cut off the old color, again leaving in a tail, or leaving a tail so that you can weave it in. Once you start reading crochet patterns, a lot of times if you're working with multiple colors, it'll say like with color A, single crochet 4 times, with color B, single crochet 8 times. If you have a little bit of vision, you could probably get away with just like looking at your balls of yarn closely. If you don't have any vision, one thing that you could do to separate your yarns is put them in Ziploc bags and then put a Braille label on the bag just saying what color it is. Or you can just you know, put a stitch marker, like, you know, 1 stitch marker on this skein of yarn is green, and then if I put 2 stitch markers on this other one, it's purple. So, you know, we all have our different ways of identifying our colors and things like that. So, but those are a couple tips. But otherwise, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching, and I will be back soon. Bye.